Hey everybody, welcome to the Say Something Else podcast. I'm your host, Rick Grease. Got your boy Dra back in the building with us. What up, Dra?
I'm back, biatcha.
Back for the first time.
Back and I'm black, half black. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, we got a good little show today. We're gonna keep it real light since we've been heavy on the politics for the past several months. We want to just do a one or two topic, do our hot takes, and we're gonna go in on a topic that me and Dra love to death. Literally.
Death being the key word.
Oh yeah,
What are you doing?
I don't know. Now y'all see these curls coming in. You got the beard shining. Speaking of the beard oil, the beard stuff, we got Mrs. B's beard oil line. We got the balm, the oil. Please don't forget to check that stuff out. It works great. Got my beard looking thick. It's shiny. Got me out here smelling like Jamba Juice with this orange scent.
Not Jamba Juice.
Jamba Juice. You ain't never walked in Jamba Juice? Orange? That's what it smell like. I'll go walk. My walk past there smell like Jamba Juice.
The Shiznit beard oil, beard balm. I'm wearing some of it right now too.
Yes.
I don't use the balm for me. I need like a heavy one to style, but I use like the lighter one that she has, and it makes it extra shiny, extra moist. The skin is taken care of underneath there, so make sure you cop it. It really like I said last time I was on the podcast. I'm not just saying it because it's Miss B. It really is like the best stuff I've used. My beard or skin does not itch at all during the day.
Yeah, and they keep it hydrated all day long too. A lot of other products I've used, they keep it hydrated for a couple hours at tops, 3-4 hours.
And then you got to reapply or
be itching, be up here scratching like a crackhead. Got your fix.
Like little meth.
Yeah, so even some other stuff she made for me for my hair, it keeps it shiny. I don't need to put no curl gel or nothing in these curls. I just use the grease that she give me, run it through, make sure it get my scalp, and it'd be popping all day long.
If you don't got a beard, get it for someone you know who does. Or, I mean, you can still technically use the oil on your skin.
Put it on your baby hairs. Do what you gotta do.
If you got a little ashy knees or a little messed up ashy feet, put it on a booty crack if it's dry. I don't know. I don't know what y'all do out there. I'm not judging.
But anyway, we're going to go ahead and just jump into our topics for today. Like I said, we're going to keep it real light, but just some crazy stuff going on in the stock market world. I got to admit, I just started getting into this stuff. I've been following it like on Twitter and Reddit for a while. And my best friend, he's kind of into it too, just trying to get his feet wet. But a couple stories that I read, and John sent them to you in regards to GameStop, the company. It was last year. They were about to go out of business. They were closing like tons of GameStops up and everything like that. And just long story short, some of the hedge fund investors, they were short selling stock and trying to get as low as possible to put them out of business, doing a short squeeze on them. And a group of people on the Reddit app, they got together and decided to just put their money into GameStop and to start investing. So the price for GameStop's their stock options was things like around the $2 mark. And just from the people on Reddit, and then even Elon Musk tweeted about it. And anytime he tweets anything, it's just one word tweet, everything shoots up. Him and a couple other people. There's another billionaire. I forgot what his name is. He got a weird name. I'm not even going to try to attempt to say. He even tweeted about it, and they invested money into it, and it shot up to, I checked this morning, at the high this morning, it was $309 per share. There was a guy that invested $53,000 into it, and now he has like $27 million. So I was trying to get a share.
We don't got that much money to invest.
Yeah.
A couple hundred.
I wasn't even trying to buy a full share. I was trying to get like a very small percentage, like 0.25% of a share, just to get a little taste of it, of the pie, and hopefully it keeps shooting up. I ain't gonna make much money on it, but hey, I just wanted to try it. But it got to the point where this morning, so many people were doing it that all of the stock brokerage apps and companies and services were they just shut down. They weren't working anymore. And that's Robinhood, E-Trade, Ameritrade, some of the other ones. I can't remember off the top of my head. They were all shut down. You couldn't buy GameStop stock. The organizers are doing the same thing for AMC stock because they were going out of business. So Nokia is another one. I just bought 4 shares of Nokia right before this podcast. 53 cents.
So if Greece gets some money, I'll hit him up.
It ain't gonna be that much at first, but I'm gonna hold it. And if I feel it gets to a point where it might start dipping down again, then I'll just hurry up and sell it off. But I got the app on my phone. I got widgets on there, so I'm keeping track all day long and getting alerts and stuff like that and monitoring all this stuff. But it's funny to me because there's also tweets that NASDAQ was threatening to halt stock trading because of all the stuff going on social media of people trying to organize to buy these low stocks and pump them artificially. And it's just funny because all the hedge fund investors are getting mad because they've been manipulating this market all this time. And then when the regular people do it to get their piece, now they got a problem with it. And now they want rules and regulations. And it's just funny to me.
That's very like how life works anyway when it comes to politics or comes to business and stuff like that. Once other people want to get a little slice of the pie, now y'all want to regulate it or call it out or y'all want to get mad about it.
The hypocrisy just...
Why is that?
Because like we always say, Lon, these people don't have your best interest in hand. They don't really want to see the common person succeed whatsoever. They want you trapped in the system. Even y'all's president, Joe Biden, tweeted, or not tweeted, but said today that he was keeping an eye on the GameStop situation. So, yeah.
I mean, this is what
either.
Yeah, a lot of these systems that are put in place are not meant for everyone to succeed, get a slice of the pie, or even a little crumb. Like you can't even get a little crumb of the pie. Like they're not all meant for everyone to succeed. I mean, we see right now, like this is the beginning of it happening when it comes to that, but they better get over it.
Yeah, it's just a shame because I definitely, if things keep going how it's going now, these investors have lost like between $2.5 to $5 billion. They're not going to keep losing their money like this.
Yeah.
So either some rules and regulations is going to come and they're going to put limits or some sort of caps or something like that on the things that the average person can do, or they're just going to do the hell with the entire system and come up with something new or just crash the whole thing.
Either they will.
People and their money, they don't play about their money, okay?
I mean,
they'll do it.
And that's really like the biggest way to make change is hit people in their pocketbooks. That's all people care about nowadays.
Yes.
Nowadays, not even nowadays, just ever since the beginning of money was created.
Yeah. All this
money's just fake.
It is. All of it's fake. Cryptocurrency, it's all the same thing. It's fake. It's all fake. It literally only works because we believe in it. Like, what?
Right. It's fake. I mean, us being broke is still real. The money's fake.
Yeah. The only thing that's real is silver and gold.
Silver and gold.
I was just about to say.
Y'all, we were traumatized by this gospel song back in the day.
Jesus is silver and gold. I know a lot of people singing that song. That hook, they lying about that part.
They are. Y'all know y'all want the silver and gold.
I was like, fuck. Yeah, it's just funny, the hypocrisy, and it's funny because right before we got on this podcast, I saw that AOC even tweeted out. I'm gonna read y'all the tweet. She says, "Gotta admit, it's really something to see Wall Streeters with a long history of treating our economy as a casino complain about a message board of posters, also treating the market, posers, also treating the market as a casino."
It's true. That's what we're saying. See, that's why I love her. She always be calling people out.
As we say, same energy.
And like the stuff she says isn't false. Like it's true. Like she's not just making things up. And
Yeah.
Good job.
But yeah, that's all. Pretty much the only topic we had to talk about today. We just want to jump into something, like I said, keep it light, so it's not all doom and gloom out there. Hopefully, the topic we just talked about, the stock market stuff, that'll get more people to look into it. If you want to dabble with that a little bit and try to come up with some more income because it looked like we might be a minute before we get that $1,400 stimulus.
And Rona's still here, y'all, so we still dealing with all this. I might try to learn a thing or two about the stock market and investing. Now that we talked about that, so I can make some extra cash.
Buy Dogecoin, please.
What did you say?
It said buy Dogecoin. Let's drive it up. Let's do it.
I don't even know what it is. I don't even know. Really.
Call me after the show.
Okay.
But next topic we want to go into, like I said, this is something that me and JAH love. We've talked about it before on this podcast, horror movies. That's just my favorite genre of anything. We just wanted to talk about some of our criteria of what we think are kind of like must-haves to have a good horror movie. You want to go ahead and start on what your must-haves are, or your top three?
I'll let you start off. I'll just say a little sidebars. I'll probably, as we're talking about it, I'll probably have more items than what I listed because we only do like 3 each. And a lot of the items we share anyway is just like we're just doing them back and forth, but I'll probably come up with some other stuff too. And looking at the list, like a lot of this stuff is like you can apply it to just not regular movies, but almost any genre really. But we're passionate about horror movies and we want people to know because even though there's a lot of better horror movies coming out lately, I feel like lately, the past few years, there's been a good like stream of horror movies coming out. But if you're a horror fan, you'll know that I feel like 10% of the movies are good and the 90% of other horror movies are trash. Like if you look at like the selection on like Netflix or Hulu, most of them are like just straight garbage. Like straight, like they're not even a B movie, just like C movies.
They all follow like a very specific formula, and it's just watered down horror. It's nothing scary about it.
Or it's just like jump scares and that's it. First of all, jump scares is not horror. That's not scary. That's like being startled, but like half the time it has nothing to do with the movie or the direction. Like anyone can do a jump scare. All I gotta do is make it quiet, and then something moves on screen, and then you have a loud noise. That's not horror. Okay, sorry.
So annoying. It's like one of my pet peeves in horror. That's what we should have did is top pet peeves too, but we'll say that for another show.
Okay.
But I have a couple of, or I'm not gonna say this is all, but these are like to me the 3 most important things to make a good horror movie, or at least have the framework for a good horror movie. Number 1 is for me is suspense. For a horror movie where you have to have suspense, like it's not gonna work. You can have literally everything else, but if you don't have suspense, then it's just not gonna work. Because suspense does so many things. It creates an atmosphere. It creates like a sense of dread inside of you. It kind of gets your heart beating without the music pumping on the screen. You need that. Oh, go ahead.
When you sent me the list, I was going to put that as my number 1 too, but then I saw you already had it. But basically, suspense and atmosphere, different, but like kind of go hand in hand. But I mean, it really is about suspense. Like, especially if there's a scary sequence coming up or like something that's supposed to be creepy. Like, there's some movies that they just literally just point and shoot, and then like the killer or the monster comes out, and that's it. But like, that's not how's that a horror? Like, you're just simply showing something happen. Like, you should like stretch it out so the audience is like left on the edge of their seat until you can't take it anymore.
Yeah, and there's certain things you can do in movies and even books also to build the suspense. And a lot of the stuff that you have listed on there kind of plays into how you can build suspense.
Yeah, I just thought about that too.
Yeah, to me, that's like the most important factor. And I love going to the movies, but the thing I hate about going to the movies is because people talk during moments where that suspense is building, and then it just ruins it.
Especially during horror movies.
That's like the one genre you cannot just talk through or laugh when you're not supposed to. Like, read the room, read the atmosphere of the movie, what's going on. Because if you talk or do anything during that moment, it's just going to ruin the suspense, and the big reveal is just going to feel flat.
Exactly. See, that's why I like going to Alamo Draft House now. So shout out to Alamo Draft House. I know there's some in Texas. There's like a few here in Arizona. I think there's like 3 or 4.
Okay. I think one of the ones out here, they actually closed down the one in Dallas that I was working at for like 2 days.
Oh, really? They closed it?
They have one in Las Colinas and I think San Antonio's the other one. Because I've been to the one in San Antonio. I haven't been to one in Los Colinas out here, but I do want to go. It's my favorite theater.
That's why. So I know this is a little sidebar, but I love going there because they enforce the rules of no talking or they'll kick you out. And even at that, like I've never had a bad audience experience at Alamo. Everyone that goes there is like serious about movies, pretty much. Like they actually pay attention. They don't act crazy during a horror movie. So like that's the only time I can deal with it. Like going to a normal theater now during a horror movie is trash because it's just full of like teenagers going there to laugh or like ghetto ass people just having a hangout. I'm like, you could do this at home. Like, okay. Anyway,
when I was a teenager, I wasn't like that. I wasn't talking during the movie and just doing dumb stuff. Like I actually was going to see the movie.
When I had friends like that when I was a teenager, I would get embarrassed and I would get annoyed. I'd be like, shut up.
I really had to tell my best friend, shut the fuck up. Anyway, I'm like, digger.
Like that meme where Puff Daddy and that guy are just sitting in each other.
But yeah, I feel like Alamo Drafthouse is like the theater built for movie nerds like us.
It is really.
It really is. It's like for us, by us.
If you haven't been, please, if you feel comfortable going or whenever it's safer to go because of COVID, take a trip, take a day to the Alamo Drafthouse. So they have like a menu, they have food, they have alcohol, they have dessert, all that stuff like that. And it's like really quirky. Like before the movie, they'll show like little random videos and stuff that kind of relate to the movie you're about to see. And a lot of the stuff you're like, how did people even find this? Like just like the weirdest quirky videos. And then they have like movie parties and like themed movie days. So like, yeah. Enjoy. Sorry. Anyway, we got all off track.
That's okay. Number two, it kind of plays into number one. My number two must have for a good horror movie is tension. You got to build tension also. Even that works in life. And like, for example, don't want to go to the left too bad, but like in a relationship, you have to build sexual tension. If you don't have sexual tension, there's not going to be any passion or any excitement. So same thing for movies, that applies. You have to build tension, and you can do that by creating like awkward moments and stuff like that. Like one example, my book, if you haven't read it, go buy it. It's not even a lot. It's like a couple $. You can get the ebook or the paperback. It's called The Ultramolic. It's amazing.
Put that on the end of the podcast.
Yes, I will. But one of the ways I build tension in the book is just by having awkward moments. And for example, there's a scene where the main characters in the story, they're on the road traveling. They get to this like spooky, creepy hotel, and there's like nobody there. And then the worker pops up, and then while they're talking, he's giving like short answers, or like he's talking and giving them an answer to their question, but stopping himself mid-sentence and just like stares at them.
Yeah,
it's like an awkward silence. It's like a like tension building up in your body, like when you read it or if you see it on the big screen, and it creates like a anxiety kind of. You know what I mean?
It's almost like it. In a way, it's almost like suspense, but different. Like,
yeah.
Wait, hold up. What do you keep looking at?
Something I'm trying to. I don't know. There's kids getting out of school and stuff. I'll just be looking.
I'm all. What is that? I'm all. What? It's almost tension's almost like suspense in a way. Like people think it's the same, but like I feel like suspense is more to do with like a set piece or like an action scene in a horror movie or like an actual scene where you know something's about to happen. Like tension's more like building the atmosphere throughout the movie, even when you know nothing horrific is about to happen. It's just like setting that mood. So like I think a lot of the best horror movies have that tension, the atmosphere throughout the whole movie. So it makes you uneasy. So then when you have a suspenseful scene, it adds to it. So then you're like, oh, you're just like on the edge of your seat, knowing something is about to happen. And when it finally does, it's like cathartic in a way. Like you just letting go of that steam that you built up. So like I think a good example also is the movie Halloween, the original one from 1978. Like the movie is filled with tension because throughout the movie, Michael Myers isn't like after the first scene, he doesn't really kill anyone until maybe like the last 30 minutes. But the movie's filled with him like following the main characters around, and you see him like just like creepily staring at people and staring at them, following them around. So that adds to like the tension of the movie.
Yeah,
very important.
Yeah, you got to build it up because if he was just straight came out just killing people and stuff, then it's not going to have the same effect as if you built it up through the whole scene. You're waiting for it, and then it finally happens.
Kind of
So
like the Rob Zombie remake. There's no tension or suspense in the whole thing.
it really is. It's just like brutal killings for no reason.
Literally, it's just brutality. Which, I mean, I'm not against watching.
Oh, yeah. Brutality, you got to have that other stuff with it, not just brutality for the sake of brutality.
Right. I mean, we'll watch it.
Oh, I'm going to watch it, trust me.
We got to watch some heads getting stomped in.
Number 3, this is one I always talk to you about, and we always crack up about it. To me, I hate, and I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't know how to say this. I don't hate music in movies, like where the music starts playing when somebody is, for example, like creeping around the corner or trying to get away for a killer, or they're like looking for them. The music does help kind of set the mood and help build the tension and like your anxiety. But I feel like a lot of movies go overboard, especially during the kill part. Like, I feel like when in horror movies, when people are getting killed or stabbed, there shouldn't be music playing. Like, I think there's just more of an effect. It makes you feel sick on the inside for watching it if the music just stops like abruptly. And like, say for somebody's getting beat with a hammer, if there's music playing in the background, it's not gonna have the same effect if there's just complete silence and all you hear is the dull thud of like somebody get hit in the head with one, and then you hear the splatter of the blood, and then you hear the crunch of the skull getting crunched.
Please. Everybody shut your hands towards Rick Grease.
No, you know what I'm talking about. It makes me feel like kind of nasty and like wrong for watching it. You're just like,
makes it more intense. Like, I feel like I get what you're saying. Like, music is very important in a horror movie. Like, that's half of what adds to the atmosphere and the suspense is music. But in some scenes, it's better to not have anything.
And I feel like if there was someone to make a movie, I wish I could be the person to do this, to make a horror movie like that, especially a slasher one with no music whatsoever, except for the opening credits. Like, it would be like, the tone for that movie would be so disturbing. Like, it sounds sick, but
like the stat sounds get louder.
All the horror movies you watch in your lifetime, how many of them don't have music whatsoever? Just imagine watching one that doesn't have music and what that would do to you.
Well, I get what you mean. Like, I feel like, especially if it's a more intense scene or like a action scene, like not an action, but like for a horror movie, I don't know what to call it. I guess, like you say, a murder scene, and it really makes it like more visceral. It really makes it feel like you're like there. Like, it makes it more intense sometimes if there's no music. Like, for instance, let's see. Like,
for example, if in real life, if you're getting chased by a killer, there's not going to be music playing. You're going to be scared out of your mind. Your heart's going to be beating through your chest. You're not going to be able to breathe. Your throat's going to be thick when you try to swallow. I feel like not having music during scenes like that, it kind of puts you in those shoes of the person. So that's my whole point.
For instance, like I don't know how many of you guys watching this have seen it, but the original The Hills Have Eyes.
Yes.
There's a scene where the killers break into their trailer, right? Yeah, the trailer. And they basically just attack them. There's like a fight, but it's like very horrific how it's happening, and like this family's defenseless, and there's no music. It's like a quick like minute scene maybe, and there's no music, and then like people are getting shot and stabbed and just getting messed up. It just makes it so much more intense seeing it happen. Like the way it's edited and with no music, it's just like, ooh.
Yeah, when you're watching it, it's like all your muscles are tensed up, like you're trying to flex. Right. Your booty piece is tight, like
the cheek. Boy,
you're done watching the scene, you can just relax and let it go. You're like, feels so good.
Let the Duke go. Well, another like original Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's not much music in there. The music in there is mostly just like weird sounds, but like the first scene where the guy goes in the house and gets hit over the head with a sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Like there's no music. It's just that weird directing and editing, and there's no music makes it like intense. Makes it seem more real. I think that's what it is. It makes it seem like it's closer to real life.
Yeah, and I feel like I can make one of the greatest horror movies of all time. By doing simple stuff like that, like building the atmosphere, and with some of the stuff you're going to talk about, using that stuff, like I've seen like everything there is to see. Like I don't get grossed by anything. Like I literally laugh during like the sickest movies that I've ever seen. But I want to make one so bad that I can't even watch it, and I'm the one that made it, and I know it's in it, but I can't watch it. That's my goal, or to write a book like that.
So in the comments, write down your sickest suggestions for a horror movie, and we will put it there. I'm just kidding. Okay, so some of mine on the list, I'll try to go through it quickly because we've been talking about this. But a lot of mine, I like looking at it now, they play into some of the things that we already talked about. It's more just like the technique of it. So my first one I had was good pacing and momentum. And I guess in a way that kind of is like tension in a way, but for any movie, really, like I feel like pacing is a big thing, and that doesn't mean like I'm anti slow burn movie because that's different. Like a movie can be slow but still paced well, and a movie can be fast and be paced well. It just has to do with like how each scene is connected, because there's some movies that are like a slow burn, which means like it takes a while for like the tension to really build and there's not much action maybe, and like it focuses a lot on like the character drama and then it gets like horrific and stuff like that. And for me, I'm all about it, but I feel like a movie is not paced well even if it's slow one if like nothing happens at all. Or like slow burn, it's like, well, what's even happening? Like what's even the premise? Like it's not really building to anything. It's like just slow for the purpose of being slow.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of times dialogue in movies plays into some of those that are like just ridiculously slow burn with nothing happening. It's just like a lot of useless dialogue. Like you're gonna make it slow burn like that and have a lot of dialogue, have the dialogue actually build to the point that you're trying to get to. There's so many movies that just don't do that. Ty West, I'm talking to you.
Yeah, we're looking at you, Ty Woods. Like some of the scenes are just like extra fat that need to be trimmed.
Yeah.
Basically. But like also in my opinion, even if it's a slow burn, I feel like once the tension really builds to where like the horror starts happening, I feel for a horror movie it's important to keep that going, because there's a lot of movies where like the horror starts and then the next 5 scenes ain't nothing happening. Like no tension anymore, and then like they go back to horror. So but then at that point it's like, okay, well, this is not scary because like you wasted all this time like losing the momentum. And I feel like with any movie, but especially horror, that's important. I mean, because if your movie's boring, then you didn't achieve what you wanted to do.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think some of the things that can be done to make slow burns more enjoyable for the masses. First of all, like from the very start of your movie, you have to start with something crazy. You can't just start boring for 20 minutes because most people are going to tune out after 5 or 10 minutes. Like I ain't gonna lie, I do it all the time. Start looking at my phone and I don't even pay attention to the movie after about 10, 15 minutes if it's just like slow for no reason. So start off with a bang and then you can start back zero. When your opening is going to capture people's attention and it'll give you that 10, 20-minute window to build the stuff up and start building the tension and build the suspense. Then you can have something happen, but then you got to build it back up to another level, and it has to be higher than it was the first time. Like each time you have suspense and then your climax, you have to build it back up. In my opinion, I guess equal, but I'd rather go higher than it was the first time and keep doing that until you get to the final climax, and it needs to be like way out there.
I agree, and I feel like a good example of that. This isn't a movie that's scary per se, but it's still a scary movie. It's Scream.
Yes.
So it's like that's a horror comedy. It's like a dark comedy horror. Like that's a very violent movie, very bloody, but it's a spoof and it's trying to be funny at the same time. But like the opening scene, we all know with Drew Barrymore, where she's on the phone in her little blonde bob wig and her little sweater, she gets killed. Spoiler alert if you haven't seen this movie from 1996. But like the first 10 minutes of the movie, it opens with that, like with that creepy phone call and she gets killed, and then pretty much for like 45 minutes, like there's no, I don't know, like no horror, like there's no intense kill scenes, but like it's building to it because like you get introduced to the characters and it's funny, like stuff is happening, and then it like introduces a mystery onto it. Like if you haven't seen Scream, it's not just about like killing, like there's a whole backstory mystery going along with it. And then the last hour, that's when they go to the party, and then that's when horror starts again.
Yeah.
So like I think that's a good example. Like you start with the bang, or I think if you don't start with the bang and you want a slow burn, then either it should just be crazy. Like how to explain it, like
Or at
the way
least have a couple of
like
hints, something here and there.
yeah, like hints of something, or just like the way it's filmed or edited is just really weird or trippy, crazy. Like the movie Mandy. I know I talked about it. I love that movie. That's like a horror action movie. I love it. I'm like obsessed with that movie. And basically almost for like the first 45 minutes, like nothing like crazy is happening. It's just like slow, but like the way it's filmed is like you're in like a trip. Like it's like really weird. And yeah, it's like an acid trip, and it's like weird and weird stuff is happening. And then like when you are introduced to the villains, like yeah, it's weird, but like they're not killing anybody yet. So it's kind of like one of those things where if you're gonna do a slow burn, have it or make it a reason to be a slow burn.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I love House of Thousand Corpses, because there's like a lot of trippiness going on. It's like a old hillbilly acid trip horror movie slasher.
Definitely. That's like Texas Chainsaw Massacre on acid.
All right.
My next one that I put was use of lighting / not showing too much, which adds to the atmosphere. So horror movies really, I think, rely a lot on lighting. So like light something to make it look creepy, make it look scary, basically to add the mood of like, oh, what's around the corner? What is this movie about? Like, even if it's not even professional lighting, like Night of the Living Dead back from like the 60s, like they didn't have no money to even really light it, but like it just made it seem like it was like really happening, and there's like a lot of shadows and stuff anyway. But besides that, I feel like it's important to not show too much because that adds to the suspense.
Yeah.
So say if there's like a killer or monster, or like the movie the Babadook. So like there's the scenes where he's there like haunting the main character, like you see like glimpses of him, and that makes it scarier because you don't know exactly what he's about, like what he really looks like full on, or what he's even doing. Like you see like glimpses of it, and it's kind of like real life because think about it, if you were like really getting chased by some monster or some demon or like some killer, you don't see full on everything really.
Yeah.
Like if you're in your house and you hear like knock knock knock, or like you see a shadow, that's what's scary. Like when everyone's had that where you wake up in the middle of the night and you look over at the chair in the corner, it's like someone sitting there. It's just a jacket, but like it's scary because like, you can't tell what it is.
Yeah.
Like especially in movies, like if you show like the whole ghost or monster, I feel like it made like something about seeing the entire thing in a movie makes it less scary because you're still watching a movie, so you can't see the full thing. So
Yeah, and this kind of not off the wall, but if you're listening to ourselves talking about this stuff, two things I love, and everybody knows this. I love horror movies and I love sex. And there's a lot of parallels between the two. No, come back. There are a lot of parallels between the two. We just talked about lighting, setting the mood, all that stuff, the atmosphere. How is it not the same? The two go hand in hand. It's not a coincidence. There's a lot of sex scenes in horror movies.
That's true. You gotta work your way up to it. Gotta work your way up to it.
Yeah, let it marinate. Don't take your dick. All right, back on topic. Go ahead and hit your last one.
I'm fixing the. And the last one I have here is characters that you care about.
Yeah.
Then that really goes for any movie because, like, I know some people might think it's me being pretentious or whatever, but when you think about it, like, you're watching a movie about people. It doesn't matter what situation they are in. If it's just a drama, a horror movie, an action movie, it's still about the people. So you have to like do some kind of character work. Like it doesn't have to be like some in-depth character study like a drama movie like Still Magnolias or anything like that. Or you don't even really necessarily have to have them be extremely well written, but you have to care about them in some way. Like for instance, Friday the 13th. I enjoy some of those movies, but they're not scary, and you literally don't care about any of the characters because they're just there to die, and they're too stereotypical. With like, there's no real like character about them. It's just like the jock, the nerd, the slutty girl, and like there's nothing really about them, and like they don't take any time to like make sure you actually are on their side. So that's why. Let's be real. Jason's the star of those movies. We watch those to see him kill people. But like in Halloween, for example, like the characters in Halloween aren't like amazingly written. Like they're not gonna win any awards for that, but you still care at least about Lori, the main character. You at least care about her because you follow her, you see what she's like, you see that she's like more reserved and sensitive, and she's the only one who really notices Michael Myers like following them. So like I feel like that does a good job in caring because once the horror starts, it makes the suspense work in its favor because you like kind of you've been following about and you care about the characters enough. We're like, oh no 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 no, don't do that, don't go in there.
Yep. And I feel that's a problem that plagues the majority of horror movies. Probably about 90% of horror movies is the fact that nobody cares about the characters. There's like always that one character that everybody just hates, and you literally cheer when they die or get jacked.
Which isn't necessarily bad though.
Yeah,
like every zombie movie in existence has a trash like character that you want to die.
Yeah.
I feel like that adds to it though.
Yeah, it does. One of the reasons why I love The Walking Dead so much is because they make you care about every single character, even the ones you don't like, you hate them. That's still an emotion, just like wrestling. You can get cheered or you can get booed. That's good, but if you get no reaction, then that's bad. Yeah. So I feel like The Walking Dead is like one of those shows that does like an amazing job, at least early on, caring for the characters. And I wish there was a horror movie. If I ever get a chance to make one, I'm putting this in there because there's not going to be any stereotype or stereotypical characters like the jock and the slut and all that stuff. I want everyone to care about every single character, and then I want to kill them all. I just want you to feel like a piece of shit when you come out of this movie. I feel like there's no horror movies that does this, and then there's like always babies and dogs that are off limits, or they don't show it on screen. It's just implied that they got jacked up. Nah, bro, show it all. Like,
yeah, why is that? It's just a movie. So yeah, why is that off limits? It's just a movie.
I don't know, especially as a dog. Everybody's like, oh, I know my wife gonna laugh at me for this one because she'd be the first one to cry if a dog get killed on screen. But if I make a movie, I'm showing it. Vegan, I'm fucking you. I was like, just joking. But there's a joke in my books, my little Chihuahua, because we have these funny battles that we laugh about all the time, staring contests. He's like always stalking me, so I made it in my books. I have a dog in every single one of my books that's based off of my dog. I just give him a different name, and he gets like brutally destroyed. It's a funny little nod to him.
Like I said, y'all, stretch your hands. Just kidding.
But, I know we're running out of time. We went a little bit over today, so we're just going to hit y'all with one hot take for today each, and then
I forgot we had that.
Yeah, we'll just be real quick on the hot takes as we're at 37 minutes right now, or 38 minutes. So real quick, I'll do my hot take. Number one, sportsmanship is overrated. I mean sportsmanship. I mean like when I play football, I hate it after we lost, or even after we won. We had to like go on the line down the field, and you had to like shake everybody's hand, say good game and stuff like that. I hate doing that, especially if I'm losing or if I lost a game. I'm not in a good mood. I don't want to congratulate anybody. I don't need your congratulations if I win. Some people might need that external validation, but for me, just knowing that I won is good enough for me. And I hate the fact that everybody gets trophies just for participating. And I just feel like it makes people not care or not have that desire to win anymore. Like, what's the point of you play games to win and have fun, of course, but the ultimate goal is to win. So, like, why do you get a trophy for losing too? That just takes away the desire of playing sport to me. And you start at the level of a child, and once you get to the NFL, if you make it that far, you're not trying hard, you're not giving it your best, you're just doing it to get your paycheck. And then all of a sudden, when they're in that contract year, when they need more money, then they want to turn the switch and actually put all their effort into it. And then when they get paid again, they go back to being lazy. So I just think it creates laziness and entitlement. And that's a big problem with the world now. So that's all I got to say. That's another topic for another show.
I get it. We have look. I feel like we could extend this to a 2-part show.
We should just do a hot take. That's it.
Hot take show. Mine today is like I guess a little bit more funny version of a hot take. But mine this week is Italian food is way overpriced for no good reason. And when I say Italian food, I do mean like authentic stuff and
Oh,
Americanized, fake. Yeah, Olive Garden, like Italian inspired, authentic Italian. It's all overpriced for what? For what? Like I understand. Like, is it maybe because you buy a lot of cheese and like cream and stuff like that for some of the dishes? But other than that, why are we paying $17 for a plate of pasta and sauce? Is
I think
it's
pasta's like one of the cheapest things that you can buy.
literally, and
It's
you
like
know,
not $1. You
right?
get you a good value thing of the linguine for
And
like 58 cents.
right, and you know they get it at like a restaurant bulk price. Like they're not
Yeah,
paying like what we pay. It just
exactly.
makes no sense. I don't understand it at all, and I would have boycott going. I was kidding.
I don't
I
know
mean,
about a boycott Olive Garden. That's asking a lot.
I love Italian food. Even Olive Garden's not authentic, but Olive Garden's still bomb though. But why are we paying that much?
Yeah, we need to look at that. That's what Joe Biden need to be concerned about. Olive Garden prices.
Olive Garden, Red Lobster, just good.
But that's gonna be it for our show today. We thank y'all for tuning in. Just want to reiterate again: if you got a beard, or you know somebody that do got a beard, check out Mrs. B's beard oil and balm line. Um,
We'll put the
check
link
out.
there.
I'm sorry.
Say we're gonna put the photo and the link there after the video.
Oh, yeah. We'll put the photo and link into that. I'm gonna put a picture of my book. Get it on Amazon, The Ultra Malik by your boy Rick Reese. Sick. It's good, really good. It's gonna get turned into a movie one day. It's gonna be amazing. Um, you got anything else you want to say?
Just watch Black is King on Disney Plus.
I was waiting for it. Oh, and watch WandaVision because it's amazing.
It is pretty good. I really like it.
It's
I'm
good.
enjoying it.
Yeah, well, that's gonna be it for today. Tune in next week. We'll be back again with some more topics, more hot takes. I'm your boy Rick Grease. It's your boy Dra.
Bye.
Bye.
Dulce.